Hello there, good evening. You're welcome to Starr today here on Starr FM. I am Tutuwaa Danso. Let's see the stories making the headlines this hour. Coming up in this broadcast, Electoral Commission rejects claims by the largest opposition NDC that copies of provisional register have not been given to political parties ahead of the exhibition exercise on August 20.
The provisional voters register are ready for pickup. However, we can state on record that the NDC has collected its external drive, which contains the provisional voters register. The other parties are also collecting them as we speak.
We have more on this, plus a reaction from the NDC. Now, SITAC to finally call off the over 2-month industrial action following crunch meeting with Labour Ministry.
And I'm happy to inform the general public that we have made very significant progress. And I want to believe that from here, it is most likely that after tomorrow, the teachers will return to school after they have had consultations with their council.
We do have details of this meeting for you shortly, plus hear from a Labour analyst. Now, also in this broadcast, Vice President and flag bearer of the ruling New Patriotic Party makes another ambitious pledge to offer teachers incentives to purchase 1.8-litre engine capacity cars when given the nod to serve as president.
We will offer incentives also for teachers to buy one vehicle each with an engine capacity of up to 1,800 cc.
We have a reaction from the teachers themselves. Are they happy about this or not? And later on the campaign trail, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia yesterday put on his Gen Z cap, asserting the manifesto is giving. Do the Gen Zs think same? And also later on the campaign trail, we'll sit with the NPP's parliamentary candidate for Tema West. There are details of these and many other stories coming up in this broadcast. Do stay.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Ridge and Might FM in Tamale, Sonali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM.
Thank you very much for choosing us. You're once again welcome to Starr News here on Starr FM, and I am Tutuwaa Danso. Now, the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, SITAG, is set to finally call off its 8-week industrial strike tomorrow over August 20, 2024. Now, this was reviewed by the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafo-Iwa, after a crunch meeting with the leadership of the striking teachers earlier today. SETAG embarked on an indefinite strike on June 14, 2024, blaming the government for failing to implement a binding agreement that has been pending for over 2 years. The strike, which affected all 46 colleges of education across the country, led the Association of Teacher Trainees to demand the closure of the colleges as their academic calendar had been severely disrupted. However, after today's meeting with the Ministry of Employment, the industrial action is set to be called off.
The conference room of Ministry of Employment, Labour Relations and Pensions. As perhaps you are all aware, we have been in a meeting all day round with teachers of colleges of education, represented by their reps who are here. On the part of government, we had the Minister of Education joining me. He had to leave because he had other equally pressing issues. We have the regulator within the tertiary level of education, GTEC, We have principals of colleges of education also represented. We have officials of Ministry of Finance. We have Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. And then we also have senior members of my Ministry of Employment, Labor Relations and Pensions. We have engaged in negotiations with reps of CTAG, and I'm happy to inform the general public that we have made very significant progress, and I want to believe that from here it is most likely that after tomorrow the teachers will return to school after they have had consultations with their council.
You just heard Ignatius Bafo-Ewa, the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations. Now, after signing an agreement with the government, which includes the full payment of July and August salaries that had been frozen earlier, Maxwell Bunu, National Trustee of CTAG, indicates that leadership will meet with the council to take the necessary steps.
Say that we are very much grateful to Professor Jinapo, Engineer Benata, and all the other stakeholders that are here present, Prinkov, for this groundbreaking event. I think CTAG have been on strike for quite a long time now, and the issues have been looked at on several occasions without us agreeing together. But today, I can say clearly that the key issues that council members have been addressed. Of course, one has got to do with the issue of nomenclature, which their council is aware of. I want them to know that that issue has been addressed. The issue of all year-round work, and then the defreezing of the July salary and the payment of August. I think all these concerns have been addressed. And as a national CTAG trustee, I don't think, with my experience here, it will be prudent for CTAG to remain on strike. So, as we have indicated here, we would certainly go back and convey all the issues that have been discussed, approved of by the officials here, CTAG inclusive, so that by close of tomorrow, with the consultation with council, I think we'll do the needful, because we cannot continue to be on strike forever. Certainly the concerns we have, that's why we are here. And if those concerns have been addressed, I think it is just common sense knowledge for us to get back and then do our work. So I can assure the media and all that are seated here that CTAG will meet with council. And I know council members are reasonable. They have sent us, they know all the issues. And once we are saying that, to a large extent, almost all the issues have been resolved. They might not necessarily see certain timeline, but of course, agreements have been reached, commitments have been made. So we would do the needful when we get back.
Maxwell Bunu is the national trustee for CTAG. Let's go over the phone lines and have a conversation with the labor relations expert, Austin Gami, because he's joined us now. Thank you very much for your time this evening, sir. And did we have to wait for this long to see the end of the strike action?
Thank you. Obviously, not so. It's unfortunate we have to travel 2 solid months and above before this matter got resolved this morning. I'm happy they have resolved it, but I'm unhappy that we live in this country with all these capabilities, and yet we have to travel with this matter for 2 solid months and above. It's most unfortunate, and it should be a bitter lesson to all of us. And I have my sympathy go to the students who suffered and their parents for all this while.
Right, but from where you sit as an expert, do you think that teachers were being too stubborn?
Certainly not. It would be wrong for us to blame them, particularly so when they exercise maximum patience, went through all the processes, and like I've said several times, this is the first time a legitimate strike was embarked upon. That's why the employer could do nothing, because I have said it openly before the National Labour Commission that this is the first time we have a very legitimate legal strike, that they went through all the processes and have earned the right to earn what have been given to them. They didn't get all what they want, but they got what have been deservingly given to them. The employer may not have the money, so they will have to engage them and engage them, in a payment plan arrangement. They didn't exercise the patience for it. Even this last minute, the issue was about engaging 2,500 from where? Where are they going to get those kind of teachers to teach in a tertiary institution just like that? We're going to destroy our children, our students, the future of school. So I'm happy they have resolved it, and congratulations to all of them, but they should never, never do this again. And whosoever becomes the president of Ghana next year should learn a lesson from this.
Right. Now, per your assessment, did you read by any means if there is some level of mistrust between the government and Labour?
Deep-seated mistrust. And that is the reasoning behind where they've gotten to. That is it.
So, Mr. Game, moving forward, how do we address such issues of, magnitude in the country?
Actually, there are ways and means enshrined in the law, in our Labour Act, and best practices. And of course, we all have some capabilities, some skill to be able to initiate moves to resolve. Our labour law do not permit the traditional adversarial approach to negotiation anymore. The law makes provision for civilized way of engaging one another in an interest-based approach so that you can have matters of this nature resolved as quickly as possible. In the unlikely event of the two sides not being able to do it, you can engage the services of a private mediator, facilitator, or neighbor commission, or do whatever is pleasing to you, but within the confines of the law and best practice. That is what it is. Unfortunately, of course, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. That is what it is. So that, unfortunately, has been our bane, and it's been here with us for many years. And I hope that it will not be repeated again.
Now, Mr. Game, during this industrial action, a first agreement was reached with the SITAG, where on August 2, government sought to reach an agreement with them over their conditions of service. It wasn't implemented. How sure are we that this time round, whatever agreement they may have had with the Ministry of Employment will be implemented?
Well, you said it earlier, that is there a kind of mistrust? It's just not a mistrust. It's a deep-seated mistrust. And you have observed that a number of industrial such actions, if you go to the Labour Commission, is awash with hundreds of cases. And it is not good for our image, even though there's room for such things to happen, but it's not good. It means we are incapable of resolving even labor-related matters. How much more in cases like Boku and the numerous shifter cases hanging and divorce cases hanging on our necks. So I think that it should be a matter of concern. But I'm hoping that we have learned our lessons and we will address them. Maybe let me say this. You know something? If we fail to acknowledge our mistakes, we will not learn lessons and be able to resolve them. If you assume you know, these are the consequences. So I hope we have learned lessons, useful lessons from this, and that we will not repeat this kind of thing again. That's just about it.
Right, Mr. Kame, but moving forward, do you in any way think that the Education Committee in Parliament should be involved in issues such as this one?
Well, when it becomes tainted to the level of political, if it's political, yes. The Parliament is about political. It is not a conflict resolution body. There are bodies here. There are both private and bodies put together like the National Labour Commission And the Labour Commission has the capacity to farm out to experts who have the capacity to mediate or facilitate in such matters. They have, and they have been doing that. And so I hope they will take proactive. They didn't take proactive steps in trying ways and means of resolving this matter as quickly as expected of all of us.
Right. Thank you very much. Mr. Austin Gami is a labor relations expert. He's been telling us about the developments with regards to SITAG, NLC, and the Labor Ministry. You're still listening to Starr Today here on Starr FM. We are back with more stories after this break. Don't go away.
With effect from the 90th cycle, we are pleased to announce the doubling, 100% increase of the bi-monthly cash grants for beneficiary households of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty LEAP program. As a result, the LEAP cash grant for one eligible member household has been increased from 128 Ghana cedis to 256 Ghana cedis. Two eligible member households increased from 152 Ghana cedis to 304 Ghana cedis. Three eligible member households increased from 176 Ghana cedis to 352 Ghana cedis, and four eligible member households increased from 212 Ghana cedis to 424 Ghana cedis. The payment to beneficiary households starts on 12 August 2024 nationwide. Caregivers should count your money before leaving the pay point or bank, or ask your community volunteer or the social welfare officer to assist. Do not accept any amount paid to them which is less than expected. Demand your receipt after being paid and keep it for reference. Caregivers, do not give any part of your money to anyone for any reason. Caregivers must spend the money on their household's nutrition and children's education and invest in income-generating activities. This is important because the households will not be on the program forever. Please report concerns about the program to the community focal person or complaints to your community volunteer, district social welfare officer, or these toll-free numbers 0800 800 800 or 0800 900 900. The message is from the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the LEAP Management Secretariat.
Starr Today, first, fast, and credible.
You are still listening to Starr Today. Welcome back from that break. Now, the Electoral Commission has once again dismissed claims by the opposition NDC that the Commission has not given copies of the Provisional Voter Register to political parties ahead of the Voter Exhibition Register on August 20. This follows recent demands by the NDC for the EC to immediately release the voter register for the upcoming general election. Now, according to the NDC, the election management body had failed to honor its obligation per CI 91 as amended by CI 126. Addressing the media during its Let the Citizens Know series, Deputy Chairman of the Electoral Commission in charge of corporate services, Dr. Bosman Asare, shuts down the claim that political parties have not received copies of the register.
This exercise is exclusively about correcting the provisional voters register to make the voters register robust and credible for the 2024 general elections. Again, the voters register in its current state is provisional, and the exhibition exercise is meant to correct the register of all errors before it is finalized for the elections. By provisional, it implies that the register is not final. After the exhibition exercise, the voters register will be accurate and credible, and this will result in the final register, which will be used for the elections. We have heard in sections of the media that the Commission has not given the provisional register to the political parties. After informing the parties to bring the external drives, we wish to place on record that per Regulation 22 of CI 91, as amended by CI 126, the Commission is required to give the provisional register to the political parties not later than 3 months from the end of the registration period. As you may be aware, the limited registration ended on 29th May 2024, and the mop-up registration ended on 3rd August 2024. On the basis of the limited registration, the Commission has until the end of August 2024 to give the provisional register to the political parties. We wish to state that the external drives containing the provisional voters register are ready for pickup. However, we can state on record that the NDC has collected its external drive, which contains the provisional voters register. The other parties are also collecting them as we speak. Pursuant to Article 45E of the 1992 Constitution, the Commission is required to undertake programs for the expansion of the registration of voters. As such, in 2024, the Commission registered voters from 7th to 29th May during the limited registration, and the mop-up registration from 1st to 3rd August. As a result of this expansion of the voters register, Regulation 23(1) of the Public Elections Registration of Voters Regulation 2016, CI 91 as amended by CI 126, mandates the Commission to display the provisional voters register for public inspection at all polling stations. Thus, the provisional voters register will be displayed at all polling stations, which will now be constituted as exhibition centers throughout the country to enable all registered voters check and ensure that their names are in the voters register. The purpose of the exhibition exercise is to allow registered voters to verify their details, that is name, age, sex, polling station and photograph as captured during the registration exercise, and make requests for amendments, changes or insertions where necessary to their details in the voters register.
You just listened to Dr. Bosman Asari, the Deputy Chairman of the Electoral Commission in charge of corporate services. We will be getting some responses from the NDC shortly, but the Commission has also called on registered voters to leverage on the exhibition exercise to correct anomalies on their voters' ID card.
The prime goal of the exercise is to help voters to know their polling stations on the day of voting. So it is important that all registered voters go to the exhibition centers to check their names. At the exhibition centers, registered voters can make the following requests: inclusion of omitted names, objection to names of unqualified voters from the register, removal of names of deceased voters from the register, replacement of poor quality or damaged voter ID cards, correction to wrong spelling of names, correction to wrong registration center codes, amendment to other registration details such as age and sex as a result of clerical error. Requests made at the exhibition centers are recorded on the exhibition forms and on the voters register provided at the exhibition centers. These forms are sent to the district office at the end of the exhibition exercise to be processed. District registration review officers, that is district court magistrates, have been appointed in all the 268 district offices to receive the provisional voters register and other lists and forms containing complaints and objections that were raised during the exhibition exercise. The district registration review officers will then make a determination on each of the cases and endorse each page of the provisional voters register for authentication purposes. For the information of the general public, voters are advised to go to the exhibition centers with their voter identity cards to verify their details. This facilitates the process for verification of details. However, registered voters who fail to bring along their voter ID cards could also verify their details, but they cannot request any amendments to their details.
That was once again Bosman Asari. Let's go over the phone lines and have a conversation with the Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations, Mustafa Gbande, with the NDC. If you can hear me, sir, thank you very much for your time this evening. Hello, Mr. Gbande. Mustafa Gbande is the Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations of the NDC. We were seeking to get some responses from him regarding the claims that EC says that there are claims that they haven't received any voter exhibition register ahead of the exercise. It's completely false. But you recall that the NDC had earlier made the claim that they hadn't received any register to that effect. And so we were billed to speak to the NDC for some responses. And if indeed they had received their register or not? Mustafa is actually on the phone now. Thank you very much for your time this evening, sir. Now, Bossman Asare says that your claim that you haven't received a register is false. How do you react to this?
Is he on the line?
He's not on the line, unfortunately.
I would have wished that Bossman is on the line because he definitely have more questions to answer than what he is doing. I think that 2 hours ago, the NDC took delivery of provisional registers. Okay? This is at the back of a complete act that violates the regulation of the Electoral Commission itself and also its own laws that require that ahead of exhibition, provisional registers should be made available to political parties so that they can examine before exhibition. Exhibition starts on the 20th. We have received provisional registers 2 hours ago. Our team is now analyzing to be sure that what we are given reflects what we have registered in terms of our data protection. Now, what is even more frustrating and what is a challenge is that the Electoral Commission made available uncompleted provisional registers to the MPP way back. But the problem is that because it didn't include the mop-up data, they were scared to make available same to other political parties because we now question. How would an Electoral Commission make such a register available to a particular political party without recourse to others? Now, we know that those informations are meant for the purposes of profiling, determining which voter, according to the local information, is MPP or NDC. We just hope that the combined effect of the illegality of the Electoral Commission, the unjustifiable and unpardonable delay of the Electoral Commission, the silence which leads to suspicion does not amount to people losing their names in the register that they have provided today. Because
Mustafa, sorry, not to cut you exactly, but if I understand you, the EC's claim that you had received this register earlier is false because you just received it only 2 hours ago. Is that it?
But you know, Bossman Asare is always lying. It's not true. It was pressure upon pressure, threat upon threat. The former President John Dramani Mahama will have to talk about it. The election director of the NDC, Dr. Madibuama, would have to talk about it before. So if Bossman Asare says on radio and want to do a PR to window dress their own illegality, it's shameful. And I put it to him that it is more criminal for Bossman Asare and his cohorts to make available to the MPP provisional registers without other political parties knowing. That is criminal. That is offensive. That undermines the credibility of their own exercise. Let Bossman come and say that he didn't do it. Who give him evidence? Is that not chaotic enough? So when the IGP is calling for compliance, the Electoral Commission is a walking contradiction and a danger to the exercise. Because we have characters like Bossman Asare who have appetite to do what is illegal. For whatever compensation, one cannot tell. What is the motivation of the Electoral Commission to have released provisional registers to a political party when other political parties cannot find it? And
right.
the law requires that you should give a political party
kindly hold on for me.
Yes.
Do you have any evidence that indeed the AC presented an incomplete register to the NPP?
I am saying that it is not incomplete. They gave them some register that didn't have a completed information because they didn't include the MOPA figures. So they were afraid that if they go ahead to honor the law, we will find out that they have issued those registers without completed data. That is the only reason why, contrary to the law, today, from few hours to exhibition, we are now getting registered. What prevented the Electoral Commission from complying with its own law that requires that provisional registers should be given to political parties ahead of exhibition exercise? What prevented the Electoral Commission?
How did you learn about this, Mustafa?
We know. And I tell Bossman, and that's why I asked if Bossman Asare was online, so that I put it to him and further show him evidence. But unfortunately, he has run away. because we allowed them to go scot-free.
Well, he didn't run away. That recording you heard was actually at a press at 2 hours ago, as she said.
Yes, so I wish that Bossman was online, because this is a danger to the exercise we are going to have. And let me tell him, 2 days ago, they wrote to the regional directors that the special voters register were having some discrepancies and some names were missing. So regional directors should recapture those names and brought back to Accra. How did we get there? Ask Bossman, Asari, and the commission if they didn't write those letters. How did we get there? I only hope that in this exhibition we don't find out that, or in this analysis we are currently doing, it doesn't lead to the fact that they have deleted some names out of the register. I would disappoint the IGP that if Ghanaians have queued, written their names, hoping to vote, and a particular individual sits at the Electoral Commission with the involvement of government, MPP, to delete names from the register, that is chaotic enough. That is disastrous enough. That is insecurity enough to say that the commission is incapable of going to organize an election that all Ghanaians are going to depend on. You see, when we talk about peace, without holding institutions to responsibility, then we cannot have peace. These are some of the examples.
Right, Mustafa, but the
commission take appetite in undermining its own laws, contradicts itself, and actually doing what is illegal. Where is the peace? Is that not chaotic enough? Why will a commission fail to provide registers in accordance with law? What roadmap is the commission using other than the law?
Mustafa, kindly hold on for me. The commission insists that they are still within the time frame for delivering the provisional register to political parties. Let me read exactly what Bossman Asare said. He said, "We have heard in sections of the media that the commission has not given the provisional voter register to the political parties after informing the parties to bring their external drives. We want to place on record that per Regulation 22 of CI 31, as amended by CI 126, the commission is required to give the provisional register to the political parties not later than 3 months from the end of the registration period." How do you respond to this, Mustafa?
They should go to the provision that talks about exhibition and whether or not they are required by law to give political parties provisional registers before exhibition or not. So you see, when a commission, in any case, in common sense, can you go to an exhibition exercise when you don't have a fair idea of the document you are going to rely on? And I'm saying that if that, assuming that their logic is right, how did the MPP get access to Ghana's provisional voter register in their domain? How did they get access to that? Such that they are using that data to conduct profiling at their various polling stations without other political parties having. Ask Bossman Asare, how did we get to that?
I mean, Mustafa, we here cannot substantiate those claims. That is the reason I was asking how you found out earlier.
That is why I would have wished that Bossman Asare is at the other side of the phone to take responsibility for their criminal conduct and their conduct that is a recipe of chaos and disaster to insecurity. He should have been answering. Why are they not willing to talk to the issues? How did the MPP get access to provisional register? How come we are now talking about some special voter register discrepancies? How did that occur in the first place? And how did we get to the point that tomorrow or 20th is registration? Political parties, we want to assume that have not gotten access to voters register. If what they are saying is right, why are they now giving us provisional register today? Are they not in an illegality? What law compels them to give political parties register this evening? What compels them? So it's a bogus excuse, an excuse shrouded with fraud. The Electoral Commission is caught up in a complete criminality to rig a process of election, to compromise the credibility of an election, to aid one political party to infiltrate electoral fraud. That is what the Electoral Commission is doing. And I'm only saying that at the back of the call of the IGP, if tomorrow we begin the exercise and we find out that there's a tampering of the data which we have, I'm sorry, what are we going to do?
No, Mustafa, I was actually going to ask you that because you just said you received it about 2 hours ago. So what are you going to do about it then?
We are doing an analysis. No matter how they frustrate us, we have a competent team that will unravel, do an audit, and go to the bottom of the credibility of the provisional registers they have given us. I'm only praying that they have not gone to sit at the Jubilee House to delete some names. If that is the case, we may be disappointed the IGP because nobody has the right to delete anybody's name ahead of election without justifiable basis. The media should be worried. You should be asking the Electoral Commission what then compels them to give us the register today. And how does it make sense that tomorrow, in less than 20 hours, we are going for an exhibition exercise, and you are now giving political parties a register for which they are going to use tomorrow? How does that make sense? How does that lead to a credible process? How does that lead to a free and fair process of election? How won't this create chaos? So when you are talking about peace and you are afraid of chaos, the Electoral Commission is a whole embodiment of chaos. That is where we are. The media should be interested in these illegalities, these contradictions, and the appetite to do wrong when the law is there.
Right, Mustafa, thank you very much for your time this evening. Mustafa Gbande is a Deputy General Secretary of the NDC in charge of operations. And as you heard him say there, he says the EC is breeding an illegality by giving the other political parties the register just about 2 hours ago, barely 24 hours, to the exhibition exercise, which is scheduled for tomorrow. And as I said earlier, those comments were purely his, and we do not associate with that. You're still listening to Starr FM and Starr Today, and I am Tutuwaa Danso. So let's move to one of our headline stories. And if you are a teacher out there who paid for one of these laptops and never received it, I have news for you. Vice President and flag bearer of the governing New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has once again pledged to offer teachers across the country incentives to purchase 1.8-litre engine capacity vehicles when given the nod to serve as a president. Now, speaking during the launch of the NPP's manifesto in Takoradi yesterday, Vice President Dr. Bawumia revealed his government will develop additional infrastructure for educational institutions to meet increasing numbers while offering incentives to buy vehicles. Let's listen to him.
Since we started the free SHS and free TVET, enrollment has increased by 83%. We are building the foundation for a well-educated, prosperous society. With free SHS and TVET, we have achieved gender parity. More girls are getting secondary education, and the impact will be positive for society. We, as a result, will recruit more teachers at all levels with improved conditions of service. We will also continue to develop additional infrastructure for our educational institutions to meet the increased numbers. We will offer incentives also for teachers to buy one vehicle each with an engine capacity of up to 1,800 cc. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to good governance. In the area of good governance, we will, and I reiterate, we will reinstate the process of getting MMDCs elected through a universal adult suffrage to deepen decentralization and effective local governance.
Dr. Bawumia there addressing NPP supporters and the entire country about what he plans to do for the country. Is this something that teachers are happy about, and has it excited them as we speak? Let's have a conversation on the back of this. And General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Thomas Musa Tanko, joins me for a conversation. Mr. Tanko, thank you very much for your time this evening. So earlier you had one teacher, one laptop, and now we have this pledge. How are you receiving this? Is it a step in the right direction for you?
So thank you very much. This is a declaration of intention for and on behalf of the presidential candidate, and for that, the party. As to whether somebody is excited or not, it is not for me to say, but for us teachers, there are questions that people are asking. Because the issue of housing came up, and the question is, has it been done or not? Okay, and aside that one, the housing, if you could recall, in the 2016 run up to the elections, there were issues in the manifesto about housing. And if you look at the 2022, when His Excellency came to our National Delegate Conference, we spoke about the same thing, that within 2 years, 10,000 houses should be delivered. And that particular, that item is of paramount interest to teachers. We have not heard anything about it, so teachers are asking, what happens to the promise? So this is something that I think that His Excellency will have to speak to it. The second thing we need to bring to your attention has to do with the condition of service as indicated on that same page, talking about the issue of education. Now, when we talk about the condition of service, we're talking about the promotion from deputy director to the director 2 and subsequent to director 1. This issue has been on the drawing table or been on the table for a very long time, and also the deprived area allowance among others, they've been on the table for a very long time. The question is, in fact, in the recent collective agreement, they've given us up to September that all these things should be done. We want the teachers are acting. When will it be done? And we are hoping that by September, if the current promises that are coming is anything to go by, then certainly by September, the promises that they have made to us that by September they will get it done. They must get those things done. That should actually affect that truly the going forward, the subsequent ones will be delivered. And coming to talk about the virtual thing, this was a policy that was in existence for teachers, and teachers were benefiting out of it, and it was taken away. So if they have promised that they will bring it back, it is a good thing. It is a good thing because it will help in facilitating the work of teachers, particularly those in areas where transportation has become a huge challenge now. So if they provide it for teachers, that will be good. But there is something also that we need to add here, and that is financing pre-tertiary education in Ghana is of paramount concern to us. We cannot do away with it. We need to do whatever that we can do to determine how we intend to pre-finance or how to finance basic education in Ghana. If you look at the International Labour Organization and the UN, the benchmark is that we are supposed to do at least devote about 6% of GDP to education. And aside that one, 20% of our annual budget should go into education delivery. But you look at the current challenges confronting education now, it's something that we need to do something about, particularly so. Because if you look at the Ghana R57 document developed by the NG, the National Development Planning Commission, we are told in that document that children between the ages of 5 to 17 years, 21% of them are into child labor. That means that any 5 children you see, 1 is into child labor, and that is not good for us because in that.
Yeah. So if I understand your submission, you say that you suggest that there are other pressing issues as compared to you being provided with vehicles. Is that it?
No, that is not what I'm saying. That it is also pressing issue, but there are other promise, how do you call it, the precedents. There are promises that have been made already, and the teachers are acting about those ones too. Because you see, if those ones are being delivered, then it will help teachers to appreciate that these subsequent promises will certainly be delivered. But given what has been said now, it is something that we need to. We believe that it is good and it will help the teachers. But you see, regarding the condition of service as we have it in the documents now, we don't have timelines to them. We need to have timelines. We need to have timelines to these things. And I think that will help us hold government accountable to them when these things are not done.
Now, finally, before I let you go, can you bring us up to speed with the status of that earlier promise of the teachers receiving laptops?
Yes. I don't have the statistics with me now, but the minister promised that by the close of this month, all the laptops will be delivered. That is where we are. And by 29th, we have to go back to the Labour Commission. So that is where we are. I don't have the figures with me now.
But I mean, despite the fact that you don't have the statistics, are you even able to tell us offhand how many of these teachers have benefited from this policy?
Oh, the last time I checked, I think they have delivered about 287,000 thereabouts. Out of the 360,000, about 287,000 thereabouts has been delivered. But like I have said, I need to cross-check with the latest figures.
You say they have delivered 287 laptops. Out of how many? What is the total?
And I'm saying that this particular figure, I think, was as of last week. That is why I'm saying that I don't have the current figures. Out of the 360,000, that's what have been delivered out of last week. So I will need to cross-check what it is today, because I know that they are distributing. And when they are distributing, I will need to check the current figures. But I know out of last week or 2 weeks thereabout, they have given out 287,000.
Now, I need some clarity. So you say that the ministry has promised that by the end of this month you would have received the remaining laptops, right?
Yes, that was the promise made before the Labour Commission. Yeah, in fact, this thing should have ended in June, and they subsequently indicated that they will get it done by August ending. So by August ending, we are going before the Labour Commission so that they indicate whether they delivered it or not, and whatever it is, we take it up from there.
Thank you very much. We've just been speaking to the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Thomas Musa Tanko.
Starr Today, first, fast, and credible.
You're still listening to Starr Today here on Starr FM. Now, the former president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Roland Afel-Money, has lashed out at Member of Parliament for Ibuakwa South and Chairman of the Local Government Committee in Parliament, Samuel Atachia, for denigrating journalism. According to Mr. Afel-Money, comments by Atachia that Ghana should not be handed over to a journalist come December 7 are rooted in ignorance. Now, the NPP MP made those controversial remarks in an interview on the sidelines of the NPP's manifesto launch in Takrade. Take a listen.
And I can tell you that when it comes to issues of the economy, we should hand over that issue to him. For the first time, that this country is going to have a president who is an economist, not a journalist. So that you can't go and second guess the running of the economy before Bamia. This is the first time. It's the first time. Kwame Nkrumah was not an economist, I'm afraid. And I've said it, and I keep saying that when you have a toothache, you don't give it to a carpenter, you give it to a dentist. So why are you going to gamble that let's push this man aside and then let's bring the journalist? It will be chaotic for us. Everybody's complaining about the economy. Why is it that you have an expert and you don't want to use him? And then you want to go and experiment with somebody who's not even going to account to people. Cruel to say that Tutuwaa is equal to Bamia. Even if you look at their heads, they are different. And their eyes are different. So are you saying that God didn't give Bamia originality of ideas? And when Tutuwaa is not dead, Bamia's ideas will be dead? It's a very pathetic argument coming from the losers. Because this argument is good for them. That if you are able to mess up Bamia and associate him with the problems of today, then the guy who couldn't even do the rearing of our confirm look good.
Samuel Atachia is a member for Ibuakwa South, speaking there. But in a sharp rebuttal, the former director of radio at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation urged politicians to weigh the impact of their utterances. He spoke to my colleague, Evelyn Arabaidu. Take a listen.
I'm disinclined to believe that Honorable Atachia meant to denigrate the media community. This could be likened to a typical political talk, and on such platforms, politicians who are consumed with all kinds of assumptions spew all kinds of things just to either dazzle the audience or to win votes. But on a very serious note, journalism is a very serious business. To quote the winner of the Nobel Prize Award in 1992, Gabriel Marquez. Gabriel Marquez described journalism as the best profession in the world. The famous American political activist Malcolm X also described journalism as the most powerful entity on earth. Spiritually, journalism is also so important. Journalism, but the Almighty God is a journalist, and the reference point is Genesis 1:3, when he made his first broadcast to the whole world. Let there be light, and there was light. Okay. And it took journalists to write the Bible. Moses and Co. and Paul, they are all journalists. Theirs is a masterpiece of journalism. When you look at the whole country as a whole, you look at even the whole world, journalism is not only the best profession in the world, but journalism contributes immensely to a country's economic upswing, social uplift, and democratic upgrade. In terms of democracy, it is ingrained in theory and rooted in practice that democracy is impossible without the media. If you look at the Ghanaian contest, it took the penmanship of Kwame Nkrumah, J.B. Danko Azikwe, and some courageous journalists to advance the cause of Ghana's independence.
You just heard there Athel Money, the former president of the Ghana Journalists Association, speaking to my colleague, Evelyn Araba Edu. You are still listening to Starr Today on Starr FM, and need I remind you that EIB remains your election hub. This is definitely your 2024 election hub, and it is now time to take you on the campaign trail. Good evening to you once again, and thank you very much for choosing Starr today. You are welcome officially to the campaign trail on Election Hub. Remember, if you are live in Accra, it is on Starr FM 103.5. In Kumasi, Ultimates 106.9 FM. In Takrady, it is Empire 102.7 FM. We are also live in Zebila on Zebs FM 92.9. And globally, we are streaming live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM. Also around the world, it is on starfm.com.gh. Welcome to the campaign trail. And tonight, our guest this evening is the NPP's parliamentary candidate for Tema Central, Charles Forson. Your views and comments are welcome via WhatsApp on 055-288-0216. It's 055-288-0216. This is the campaign trail, and you are welcome. You barb, it is giving. I am the plug are amongst terms associated with the next generation, affectionately called Gen Zs. Now, as politicians comb around the country, sharing their campaign messages in a bid to whip up support from all generations, it has become clear that the Gen Zs, that is those born between 1997 and 2012, form a rather significant portion of the country's voter population, while the Vice President and flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, yesterday put on his Gen Z cap, hoping to rule them with your own terms. Take a listen to him.
And after independence, again, Kwame Nkrumah used the media.
To the Gen Zs, I am well plugged into the new world you belong. And I know the keys to press to unlock your potentials within. I am your plug to your dreams of a prosperous Ghana. I am your plug to creating opportunities and decent paying jobs. I shall offer you a problem-solving leadership built on my values of integrity, compassion, and sincerity. To this end, I have presented for your consideration our manifesto for 2024. The manifesto is giving. It is giving hope. It is giving ideas. It is giving jobs. It offers the.
But is Dr. Bawumia's promise and his presentation really giving? Some Gen Zs have been speaking to Star News.
If he says it's giving, I don't know what it's giving about. Okay, I don't know what it's giving about what he said, because these are things they've said before. And if you are repeating it and you are telling us to skip, we don't know what you are talking about.
I don't think the manifesto is given. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think yesterday's Dr. Bawumia's message about trying to touch the Gen Zs with some of his languages which he used, I think for me it was deliberate. Not only the language of, not only the manifesto of Bawumia alone, but also the whole package in generation, looking at how they brought on youth to give some messages at some point in time. For me, I think it was a calculated effort from the MPP, the whole party system. And again, you know, we are having SHS students who are graduating to vote for the first time. And so most of them are new in the political space. So it's actually speaking a language which we resonate with. We have about more than almost 2 million new voters coming in. So I think it was a deliberate attempt to able to catch, able to vibe with the young ones, able to vibe with the Gen Zs, for them to also feel among and say, okay, this man is speaking our language.
And I just feel like probably maybe he wants we the youth to know that he is on our side to gain our vote. But that comment does not really mean anything to us.
You just heard some Gen Zs there speaking to Star News. Now, let me just come in the studio, and seated opposite me is Charles Forson, the NPP's parliamentary candidate for Tema Central. Thank you very much for coming. And is it giving? Was the manifesto launch giving?
Thank you for having me, and good evening.
Good evening.
And let him extend a warm greetings to my constituents, Tema Central. Yes, the manifesto is a giving. It's based on trust. It's based on fulfillment of a solution onto Ghana.
You think that you have proffered solutions to Ghana?
Of course.
In what respects?
When you look at the port situation, comparatively, our port, the duties are a bit higher. Now, going forward, there's going to be comparatively a lower as compared to the other ports within the sub-region. He's going to waive off taxes on mobile phones.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to give about 1 million jobs in soft, when you talk about soft, digitization and other related areas. And it's a total package.
But the question on the minds of many people is, why not now? He's still in government, isn't he?
Governance is a process. It's a process. It takes time. I'm sure we'll come to the detailing.
Definitely.
Yes. It takes time, and then it takes time to actualize certain policies and certain frameworks. And I do believe that this is the right time.
I would like to touch more on the manifesto launch yesterday. Were you there?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Please.
Let's talk about promises like nurses to receive vehicles with the 1.8 engine capacity. How do you make of that?
It is possible.
Not about the possibility, but do you think that is what the nurses need at the moment? Nurses were included.
Okay, previously, doctors were not given. Doctors now have, vehicles. And every professional, if it's possible. Now we have so many manufacturing and assembling plants in Ghana, automobile. And if the government says they want to do. Once head is put to task, they can really do it.
But people have said it is ridiculous for the vice president to be promising to establish banks when this administration collapsed some banks. How do you respond to that?
There were situations, and you and I know what happened, you know.
So why not sort of revive those collapsed banks, or that's not possible?
Maybe their owings were overboard. There's always a new way of getting the work done.
Okay.
And I do believe that he's saying that there will be other banks. It will be done.
Okay. Now let's talk about the one final thing before I come to you properly. So the ECD that he plans to introduce, which he says will curb corruption in the country. How possible is this? Because looking at our digital landscape, are we ready for such an innovative?
You see, when the issue of free SHS was brought forth, everybody said it was never possible. Now we know.
But this is technology.
But with through Dr. Bawumia and the government, we've created so many platforms, digital platforms. And
But how widespread are these digital platforms that you talk about?
I mean, giving a manifesto is a policy. It's a policy framework. And I believe with time, they will come out with the detailing. I keep saying the detailing because I cannot sit here and say that, look, this is how it's going to go about it. But once the government is determined to offer total solution onto the good people of Ghana. Yes,
right.
Please.
Let's talk about you and Tema Central. This is not your first time running as the parliamentary candidates for that area. Is it the first time?
This is my first time.
Your first time.
But I have contested as, what do you call this, for as a PC, and I lost that.
So this is your first time
yes.
winning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
how did that happen for you? Because the first time the incumbent MP defeated you.
No, it was... The incumbent, yes, he defeated me. There was a pure contest. We were 4 in number. He came first, he won, and then this time I won against him head on head.
So what distincted you from the other candidates?
I saw the same message, what I call the 7-pillar agenda, onto the good people of Tama Central.
What is a 7-pillar agenda?
Okay, I believe in youth employment and youth empowerment, which is the first pillar. The first pillar. I believe in recreational center, redeveloping all recreational. We have about 23 recreational centers in Tema.
Okay.
I intend redeveloping all. Mature medical care. I believe in the mature medical care. I believe in tree planting, the libraries, development of lesser known sports, basketball, volleyball, and table tennis platforms. Yes.
So you mentioned about 4.
I've mentioned 5.
5.
Yes.
You talked about tree planting.
Yes.
You talked about the development of the recreational centers.
Yes.
Unemployment.
Yes.
What else?
Lesser known sports.
Lesser known sports.
Yes.
And
libraries.
Libraries. Okay.
Yes. There are 7 in number.
You don't remember?
No,
the
I do remember. I'm on it, but I'll get them. But I formulated all those policies, and we've actually started some.
You sold all these 7 policies to the constituents.
Yes, please.
But at the moment, you can't remember.
No, I do. Okay, let him start.
They are listening. I mean, some of them may need a reminder.
Of course. What do you call youth in entrepreneurship and empowerment?
Okay.
The welfare scheme. The welfare. I did not mention the welfare. Yes, the welfare. The welfare, and the welfare, recreational centers, the libraries, tree planting. The last one. I'll get there.
That's okay. But
yes.
what is part of all of these policies? What is the inspiration behind these policies?
You see, we live in our part of the world. Youth needs jobs. And there are industries there, though, but the industries are so concentrated that you cannot say that you're sending people to CDC, GAPOA, or what have you. You need to empower them. And that is what I'm doing currently. I've partnered about 50 organizations that we are giving seed monies to certain individuals, young ones, to start their own.
How much are we talking about?
I began with 2,000 cedis per head.
Per person?
Per person, yes.
So roughly about 10,000 Ghana cedis or more?
No, it's
100,000?
No, it's more than that.
50 times 2,000?
No, 50 organizations.
Organizations?
10, yes,
right.
10 per each organization.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a welfare area. The welfare, MPB is a capitalist party. However, we are pro-social. We give social interventions. And currently, with the welfare system, we are supporting petty traders with some little thing to cushion them.
I believe that all of these policies is for the good of the constituents, right?
Yes, please.
But your contender, Ebi Bright, says that you are corrupt.
In which
for
way?
promising to give this 2,000 seed capital to young people to start up businesses. How do you respond to that?
But that is so strange. Corrupt. I mean, it's not. I'm not a government worker. I'm not what you. I don't do government contracts. What I do is that I believe in impactation. I believe in impacting in people's life, and it's not because I'm standing as PC. That is why I'm impacting in people's life. I've always done that. I've always supported people to stand on their own. I believe that we don't have to be begging people for 20 cities, 50 cities. I think that's what she believes.
But I mean, did you hear her say that?
No, the place was so noisy. It was afterwards that I heard her say that. But I mean, she herself knows that, no, I'm not corrupt. She knows it very well. Yes. I'm never corrupt, and I'm a full business person. What do you call it?
What do you do?
I'm into real estate.
Okay.
I'm into pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
I'm into policy framework and strategic frameworks. Yes.
So you're a proper business
Yes,
person.
yes.
So what then inspired you to contest as the parliamentary candidate for Tema Central?
Because I want to deliver on the 7-pillar agenda. I believe I can impact more onto the people of Tema Central, and I can help change the lives of people.
This seed capital that you've been given to startups, are they from your own pockets?
Yes, yes.
What is the source of funding?
From my
your businesses.
Yes, my businesses. Once you intend supporting people, you need to plan. I plan. In fact, there are people that I give support to in terms of welfare. 500, those who
500 cities.
Yes, who sell petty traders. Yes,
okay.
And they are so gracious. There are people that we buy sachet water sellers. We give them 10 sachet. They are so gracious to me and so gracious to the government. We cannot always wait for people to come and knock and say, please, I'm hungry, give me 20 cities or 10 cities. No, let us empower the people to stand on their own. That is what I do believe in.
Right, so what is your current relationship with Yves Hansen?
Okay, we just commissioned a school together last Thursday. Myself, the chairman, and then the MC. You know, Tema Central is a subset of the metro, yes.
So you have a good relationship
Of course.
with him, right?
Yes.
Right. Let me take you back to the manifesto again.
Yes, please.
Which of the provisions in the manifesto address the pressing issues in Tema Central?
Employment.
Okay.
Yes, employment. I always talk about employment. You know, no Tema Central youth is lazy. They may be idling, not because they are lazy, but because there are no jobs. That is what I want to inculcate.
I mean, if there are no jobs, wouldn't it be on the failure of the New Patriotic Party? Because
What?
you have dominated in that constituency since 2012.
No, why don't you say is the doing of the previous government before the MPP government? No, you don't have to push the blame. I'm saying that
I know I'm not pushing the blame.
government is there to promote an enabling environment for all.
Right.
That's to say that leaders ought to support everybody. And leadership, I'm not talking about politicals. We need to see that everybody, be you in a position or in power, you need to help. So if a candidate who has stood for 10 years or 20 years or 12 years has not been able to help any of the constituents, you understand, then the person is not ready to help anybody. Do you have to get a nod? Do you have to be an MP before you can support someone? No. Hell no. I believe that we all need to empower the people.
I mean, do you think this is one of the reasons for which Yves lost the seats? He wasn't able to provide jobs for the people.
No, it was a contest.
Okay.
It was a contest. No. The delegate bought into what I was offering. That is all. I mean, yes.
I see. Now, let's talk about how you plan to involve the youth in governance in your constituency.
Yes, currently we've created a new office, an open door policy. Everybody comes in there. The youth, they are all part of the process. We just ended the widow project last Friday. There's a new one of which I'm sure.
You say the window project?
No, we just ended the widow.
Widow project.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, for the elderly,
Okay.
for the Yes. Then we are coming to start a new one, which is a youth. It is a youth granted project, which I'm sure that in the following few weeks we will start.
How many benefactors were involved in the widow projects?
Approximately about 1,000.
1,000.
Yes.
What did they get?
Oh, we gave a token out of our love from the government and from myself, and then the leadership of the party. Yes.
Now let's talk about Tema Central.
What we don't do in our part of our world is that when we give it the right, we don't show it to the left. The widows are our mothers. They are my sisters, and they are my aunties. So, yes.
I see. Like as I was saying, let's talk about the Tema Central constituency properly.
Yes,
it is quite an industrial area. How are the youth going to benefit if you are voted as the parliamentary or the member of parliament for that area?
Come again, the question again.
The question is that Tema Central is quite an industrial environment. So how are you planning to make the youth benefits from this industrialization in that area?
Okay. I'm friends to most CEOs. And currently, I think the new Starr factory, my good friend is employing about 21 of my constituents. There's a new face in a very big corporation. I'm sure we are going to get about 200 slots. I'm talking to people. I don't have to,
What is the likelihood that you're going to be getting about 200 slots for people? Because I'm sure they are listening, they are excited.
Of course, I've been there with one of the key players some months back. Yes, we've met them, and they are going to get it. They are
what is the criteria for the selection?
We don't have to. Once you are a constituent, yes, you don't have to show a party card. You don't have to.
No educational background, nothing.
No, there are certain work. In Ghana today, everybody has a basic. It's a free SHS.
Right.
Everybody.
That is what I want to know.
Yes, everybody has it. So if you want artisans, normal work, everybody has it. So now there's nothing like you're going to employ the illiterate. No.
Okay.
Yes.
So what then happens to them? Because not everybody may have had the chance to get some sort of literacy. What happens to those who haven't been to school?
No, all that I'm saying is, be you having the basic or not, you are part of the process.
Okay.
Yes, you are part of the process.
So it's an all-inclusive project that you're embarking on.
Of course, yes.
Right, I see. Now, this is your second time as a parliamentary or contesting?
No, this is my first time.
First time winning?
Yes.
But second time?
No. The first time was parliamentary elections. That is not normal. But
that is what I'm talking about.
Yes. That one is an internal.
Yes.
It was an intra-party contest.
Okay.
Yes. But this is my first time
winning the slots. I understand.
Yes.
Now, your contender, Ebi Bright, she's been in the system for 3 times, if I'm not wrong. Are you not afraid?
Afraid of a perpetual failure.
Are you leveraging on the fact that the NPP has dominated in Tema Central? So
you're
comfortable?
The competition in Tema Central. The competition in Tema Central is to deliver on our promises to give jobs to the teeming youth.
Okay.
Yes. The competition in Tema Central is to save the sewer situation, which we are doing it. Currently, yes, every Friday, Saturday and Sunday, yes, we are on the ground doing it because Tema Central has a centralized sewage system. That's the competition. It is not about the NDC. Before NDC, MPP, Tema Central is what do you call it? It's a community. We live as families. And Tema Central, not because it's a pro-MPP, no. Our vote, I keep saying our vote draft a bit, it's going to go up to about 73.
But I'm asking this because she has been in the system for a while, so she may have had a lot more experience as compared to you.
Experience in life?
In politics.
Politics, no. Once a failure doesn't make her experience, no.
So she's going to fail?
Of course, miserably.
Pay your assessments.
I tell people that we are going to retire her permanently. We are going to retire permanently. Maybe I will say this. She needs to have another source of, what do you call it, employment. That is what.
Wow. What is the current source of employment?
Anyway.
Why does she need another?
All that I'm saying is that...
Are you trying to say that politics is the only thing she depends on?
Can you move to the next question?
You don't want to answer that?
Can you make progress? I'm saying that my competition and the competition of the MPP in Tema Central is to deliver to the good people of Tema Central employment to save the sewer situation.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about housing deficits. Is that one issue that confronts you in Tema Central?
Not much of an issue in Tema
So
Central.
the publications online indicating that there are housing deficits in Tema Central, are they false?
I mean, the rent are expensive, but you see, there's an extension.
Why are they expensive?
Because it's a business and industrial hub. Yes. Everybody is highly concentrated, and
Okay.
then definitely the rent will go up. Yes.
So then how are you going to mitigate this for the youth?
You see, we need to take one step at a time.
Okay.
Let us get them jobs. Let us empower them. Let us give them employment. That's the most important thing for now.
But shelter is equally important,
Yes,
don't you think?
but they are not sleeping out there. They live in homes.
Okay.
Yes, they live in homes. I mean, decent homes, I would say. Tama Central has one of the most decent homes. From Community 4 through to Community 6, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 6, yes.
So what then will be your broad vision for Tema Central?
In terms of, yes,
In terms of
vision,
development.
the vision is in terms of,
Development.
it's based on the 7 pillar.
Okay.
Yes, it's a 7 pillar, which is going to change the narrative in Tama Central. We are going to plant trees. We are going to recreate the recreational centers. We are going to build basketball.
But I mean, this tree planting initiative is one I find quite interesting. Why do you seek to plant trees?
We need to.
Okay.
We need to re-beautify Tama Central.
It's just for the aesthetics.
No. I mean, we need to bring the beauty back. I have lived all my life in there. Everybody had a tree at least, but now the trees are gone. We need to redevelop our city, and the tree planting is part of the process.
I see, and the youth are falling for that. The
Of
tree
course.
planting policy.
Of course.
Okay.
But it's not always about the youth, about the constituent. Ask me whether the constituent. Yes, the youth forms part of, but there are other people, sets of people that makes up the whole of Tama Central. Yes.
Okay, I see. And how has it been since you started campaigning? What has been the reception from the constituents?
It's been great. It's been very responsive.
How great has it been?
Great. If we are expecting 100%, we get 100% and plus. Yes.
That's some confidence.
Yes, we don't make noise. I don't make noise. I impact in people's life. And now, today's Ghana, everybody wants somebody who will impact. Direct impactation, yes. BU, NDC, or MPP, they come to my office. It's an open policy. You don't have to run to me through somebody, no. Nobody, I don't have a PA that you have to see before a secretary, no. There are people at the office, though, but you come straight to me.
I see.
Yes. And I have only one telephone number.
So you are very much accessible.
Too accessible.
Okay.
Everybody comes to my office. Everywhere, they know me.
I see. Now, before you go, though, what message do you have for Tema Central constituents?
My fellow Tema people, have faith in the MPP. Have faith in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Let us break the 8 together. And come December 7th, let us all go out there and vote for Tema. Tema for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Tema for Charles Forson. I mean, that is the only way we can keep the tempo of impacting in people's life and keeping up with security and lighting up Tema. We are a family. Thank you.
Right. You're still listening to Starr today. This is the campaign trail. We've been talking to Charles Forson, the parliamentary candidate for Tema Central, on the tickets of the NPP. We'll be back with a wrap of this interview right after this break. You're welcome back from that break. This is still Starr today, and this is your campaign trail on Election Hub. Before I come to you, Charles Forson, let me take some social media comments that have been coming in for you. So, Predictor Mami Fosua Dankwa says, CF to the whole Tema Central, sizeless. Zilan Adu says, CF all the way. Eunice Dufie Nyame says, Tema Central for Charles Forson. Joe B says that you have delivered, Honorable, the best man at the moment. So, my producer wants me to talk to you about security. What is the security situation in Tema?
We have the finest security in Tema. Yes, we do have that. Our police service in Tema Central, they do a yeoman's job. No, we are good.
So there haven't been security infractions in the constituency?
We are good. I mean, Tema Central, we are good. I mean, we are on top of security. I mean, if there are issues, quickly we address it. We don't allow things to prolong.
Right. What about health? Especially with regards to infrastructure.
Oh, we do have a general hospital in Tema Central. A general hospital, yes.
And how dire is that situation?
No, we are okay. There are so many hospitals.
Many affordable. Are they private hospitals or government hospitals?
The general hospital is a huge hospital. It's affordable to all. But aside that, there are so many. Tema Central is a middle upper class.
Okay.
Yes, it is not down. There are a few downs there, but I mean.
So they can afford the hospitals
yes,
there.
I mean, the health situation is okay.
But you had me read the messages from your constituents. How does that make you feel?
It means we are on track. The people of Tema Central are on track.
When you say you're on track, what exactly do you mean?
I mean, we need to have more than 73%. Yes.
And how is that going? The current MP,
yes,
does he support you to want to win this 73%?
Of course, he's a true blue.
Okay.
Yes. When I lost the first time, we all supported.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's reciprocating.
The sitting MP and the former MP are all on board.
Okay.
Yes.
That's quite some support there.
Yes, the former MP is the darling boy. He's the godfather of the constituency. Kofi Brackon. Yes, he's there. Yes.
So I'm going to give you the chance to wrap up. I'm going to give you the chance to tell your constituents something again on the reasons they should vote for you over Ebi Bright.
Yes. Tema Central have to vote for me because of trust. Because of impactation. Because we want to move Tema from where it is currently and move to that level that everybody will have something to say about the goodness of this government. For which reason we all have to vote Charles Forson and also vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia so that we can easily break the 8. We need the numbers.
And retire Ebi Bright.
For good. Yes, of course.
I see. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Campaign Trail on Starr today here. Your election habit. I've been engaging the NPP's parliamentary candidates for Tema Central, Charles Forson. You have heard what he's had to say, but you are the ultimate decider as to what you want to do on December 7.
Incredible.
You're still listening to Starr today. Now, the Karachi East MC, Charles James Boateng, has revealed that both operators in the region are delaying the construction of the Dambai Bridge. In 2019, President Akufo-Addo promised to construct the Dambai Bridge to connect nearby towns in the Oti region. Now, 4 years later, the promise remains unfulfilled. The absence of the bridge, combined with the frequent breakdowns of the Sinti Ferry and long vehicle queues, continues to frustrate travelers. The Karachi East MC, Charles James Boateng, says the boat operators fear the construction of the bridge will threaten their livelihoods. He shared this information in an exclusive interview with the GH1 News' Peter Kwao Adato in the Bridge of Broken Hopes documentary.
The reason why it's delaying, you know, there is a small ferry in the lake. That is the boats, that small one. They also wrote a petition that if it is a bridge, their job is going to spoil. They don't have any. Yes, they're also using that small bridge to take the passengers across the hill. And so there's a petition at the table of president. And he's also looking about that one. That is why he's delaying the work. You know, president is somebody, if he say it, he's doing it. You know, a petition is a petition. That is why we have lawyers in this country. So they need to look at it and see and get the state attorney to advise them and know what to do. That is why he's delaying the bridge. They are even petition is part of these people. They are also saying as soon as the pantu will land or the boat will land, they get the load. But if it is bridge, the car will just pass. That is the complaint that Okada people are giving to us. So it's a very big challenge for us, and the government also think about it. If not that, as for the president, he's somebody, he said one, is.
Let's do some business-related stories now. I beg your pardon, sports rather. Joining me in studio is Benghazi with the latest in sports. Benghazi, good evening.
Good evening to you, Tutuwaa, Danso, and of course to some sports news now. And indeed now, let's begin from our teams in Africa and how they fared over the weekend. And then we can take a listen to some reactions that have come on the back of Dr. Bawumia's promise to give football clubs in Ghana some interesting, buses, if you like. So we begin with Eric Alagidede, who has been speaking about Dr. Bawumia's promise to give out buses. Now, General Manager for Ghana Premier League in Swatreman FC, Eric Alagidede, says the provision of buses is not the real and immediate problems Ghanaian clubs are facing in the Premier League. Reacting to the promise of the flag bearer of the NPP at the launch of its manifesto for elections, Dr. Bawumia, to introduce a series of sport development policies focusing on funding, training, tax incentives, and the provision of a bus for clubs in the Premier League, Eric Alagidede emphasized that there are bigger issues that confront football administrators, administration, I must say, in Ghana beyond provision of buses.
I don't think there is a Premier League club without a bus. These are not the immediate needs of clubs in Ghana, if you ask me.
Okay.
We have issues to deal with Hearts and Kotoko and other clubs who use the stadia and all that. We have consistently, government after government, asked for tax rebate for clearing of sports goods. You know what happened? Our jerseys that we used to play our game yesterday, I went to pick them at the airport. They came via DHL.
Okay.
And I was asked to pay 9,000 Ghana cedis in terms of taxes.
Wow.
Yes. So these are things we expect people who are with the vice president and have knowledge about sports to be advising him, and other people who seek to take over power. These are things, look, that we have asked for a 3% flat rate of VAT across board for all football clubs.
Okay.
No one is paying attention to it. But these are the things that take a chunk of our funds away.
Okay.
Our national teams are being catered by Puma. The German company gives us items virtually for free. They get to Ghana, and the Ghana Football Association has to pay taxes on the jerseys that the national teams are going to use.
Wow.
What kind of country is this?
Okay.
So, these are the immediate needs that I think we should be addressing. As for buses, anybody who wants to run a football club can easily buy a bus.
Okay.
But seriously speaking, issues of salaries, pumping money into the league, those are okay. But I think they should look at the issues of VAT. They should look at the issues of how sports clubs, football clubs and other sporting disciplines bring items into the country, and they have had to pay the same amount of taxes that others involved are also paying.
And that's Eric Alagidede. Meanwhile, he praised his team in Swatreman's 3-0 victory over TP Elect Sport of Chad in their debut game in the CAF Confederation Cup. Speaking on the game on GH1 TV and Starr from Eric Alagidede stated that most of their players were very inexperienced, and thus it made their victory even more exciting. The second leg of the game, or the encounter between themselves and a sport, will be held in N'Djamena in Chad on 24th of August, when Swatreman look to seal their place in the next round of the Confederation Cup.
When you speak to the boys who played the game yesterday, clearly there was stage fright, let me put it that way, because the exception of only one, Mark Ajekum, who had previously tasted this competition with Ashanti Gold. None of the players in there, had been to Africa before. So, yes, clearly we're parading an inexperienced side. We're coming up with players who, some, as many as, let me say, about 4 players who played yesterday, are yet to even chase the Ghana Premier League. Okay. So and we threw them onto the big stage. And for me, it's remarkable. I mean, I've seen a lot of commentaries about how many chances we missed and how the boys were wasteful and all that. But I give a lot of credit to my team because, I mean, most of these boys have never been there before. Okay. So for them to go onto that big stage, I mean, in the very first ever game in Africa, and to record a 3-0 score.
That's Eric Alagere, the general manager for Nswatreman Football Club in the Premier League. Let's go on now. And Coach Yusuf Basigi has announced his final squad for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, which begins on August to September of this year. Now, the team, which arrived in Colombia last week, consists of 21 players, most of whom play in Ghana. Key inclusions are Urban University goalkeeper Jenna Kayla Sapong, defender Alexandra Emefate, also from Seattle United in the USA. Midfielder Stella Nyamiche, who missed the African Games in March due to injury, makes a return to the squad. Now, the attack will be spearheaded by Mefia Nyame of Asfar of Morocco, with support from Salamatu Abdullahi and Mariam Ponsan of Ampim Dakwa ladies. Basigi is very optimistic. His charges will make Ghana proud at the upcoming World Cup to be held in Colombia later on this month. That's it for sports.
Thank you very much, Benghazi, for those sports updates there. And on that sports note, we bring Starr Today to an end today. Thank you very much for staying with us. For more news updates, of course, please log on starfm.com.gh. I am Tutuwaa Danso, and this production has been led by Prince Essien, Benjamin Saki, Eden, and then Echo. Thank you very much for your time this evening.